Hello everybody, Pepperjack Hawk is back in the studio. Let's make it a part 3. Why not? First line in books. Or does it be prologue, first line in the first chapter, read the back if we're not familiar? I mean, it's interesting stuff and we shall see. Now, I'm thinking, don't know what sounds better or worse, because we're trying out a new mic. But let's start out with, it's called Blood of the Lion by C.D. McKenna. So, I'm not sure how much of this anyone's ever heard of, but we'll read the back. Destiny is irrefutable. As Syria, Moray, and Cyrus all have something in common: death. The demon killer once responsible for the Dairalian massacre has been found after being lost for centuries. Millions of lives fell victim to this treacherous relic, and now Syra holds it. Torn from the sanctuary of her home, she must learn to live on the run in search for freedom, hunted by forces known and unknown. Fate can be cruel, and Moray Jarrell knows this firsthand. As the king and sole heir to his bloodline, Moray must hide the twisted truth of who he's becoming. But as the king slips further into his curse, war becomes inevitable, and he will have to make choices, for that can undo everything he's worked for. Meanwhile, as chaos rages and fear grips the heart of all, attention is turned to the first dragon rider to rise in nearly 8 centuries. Cyrus wants nothing to do with prophecy and war, but he will protect his dragon Sozar above all else. His only choice is to cast aside the life he once knew and traverse the mysterious Reluthian Mountains, said to be the home of the god of darkness himself. Everyone has a destiny. No one can be trusted, not even the gods. Sounds pretty good. Let's see. There's a good map in here. This looks like we go straight into it. The Undead, 427 summers ago. Drake deflected another blow. Exhausted, his muscles shook, and sweat gleamed on his brow, coated the skin underneath his bashed and bloodied armor. Who is this? Why is he fighting? I mean, the back says a lot. That says a lot. I mean, let's just keep going. Sky Jewel Legacy Heritage. There's a YouTuber, Gregory Heel, who convinced me, I think. Jen has a perfect life, loving family, a dreamy boyfriend, and a scholarship to New York University, until it all turns upside down on her 21st birthday, when she discovers that she's the last living descendant of a powerful line of omnimancers, sorcerers who can control everything on the mystical plane. With danger lurking around every corner, Jen is forced to go on the run with a banished sorcerer as she learns about her true heritage, how to control her hidden powers in this coming-of-age fantasy adventure. Let's see. There's a prologue. England, almost 1,500 years ago. With her last ounce of effort, Genevieve Lancaster reached deep into her nexus, casting every spell she had learned, deploying every tactic she had used in the past duels, and relying on every instinct that had kept her alive for the past 10 years as a Mistra, the highest mantle given to the sorcerer or sorceress. That's a lot of stuff. Chapter 1, Upper West Side, Manhattan, New York. Present day. Happy birthday to you! Not enough. The congregation of friends and family were slightly out of tune, but it's still heartwarming. They were all huddled around the kitchenette counter of a small studio apartment, just big enough for a college student who was attending New York University. What does magic have to do with New York University? Well, I guess I'll find out. Maybe you will too. Mark Stanley, The Elven Blood. Let's see. Alright, step into the captivating world of Velar, where ancient enemies, forbidden love, and the balance of kingdoms teeter on the brink of destruction. Gunnar, destined heir of the Dragnor dwarves, is irresistibly drawn to Anwin, a formidable elven exile. Their illicit loves threaten to upend their worlds, sending them on a perilous journey through the landscape of rift, rife with betrayal and peril as they navigate volatile alliances and confront harrowing truths, their bonds in either shattering or reshape the very foundations of society. Lots of stuff in there to unpack. There's a glossary. I always like when they have a glossary, especially beginning with a map. Chapter 1, A Father's Burden. Father tools to carve a path of security, yet shadows lurk where his light cannot reach. Dakari, weary footsteps whispered through the dimly lit corridor of his home. Each soft sound a reminder of relentless toils he endured in the mines. Despite the weight of exhaustion pressing upon him, he moved with a certain grace, a testament to the inherent strength and agility of his lizard-like heritage. That gave us nothing, but I liked it. So there's a lizard, but there's also an elven character and a dwarf, and they're gonna have a romance about it. We'll see. Alright, let's see. Ooh. Aragon. What's that about this? By Christopher Paolini. If you don't know about this, you don't know. I mean, this is one of the starter ones. Let's go to first line of Aragon, which is what? There's a prologue, always. Shades of fear. Winds howl through the night, carrying the scent that would change the world. A tall shade lifted his head and sniffed the air. He looked human except for the crimson hair and maroon eyes. Okay. Discovery. Aragon knelt in the bed of trampled reed grass and scanned the tracks with a practiced eye. The prince told him that the deer had been in the meadow for only half an hour before. Hunting in a shade or a shadow. I mean, good stuff. Some of these first lines are good, some are better, and, I like them all. Let's see. Depths of Vanlith by Brady Hunsaker. I've seen this on YouTube too. Magic is earned by venturing through the depths of Vanlith, a dangerous cave filled with monsters, and depending on how people survive, they emerge with different powers. I'm already hooked. I mean, is that the first line? That's the back of the book. That's the first line in the back of the book. Chapter 1. To dream. There were 100 ways to get killed by monsters, but perhaps the most exciting way was to enter their den, travel to the bottom of it, and hope to make it back out alive with a slim chance of survival, all for the purpose of emerging with magical powers. This sounds epic. I mean, doesn't that just get your creative juices flowing? I mean, all this stuff so far. Let's see. Phillip, the Court of Assassins. Myth, legends, Nightfall has long been rumored to be nothing more than a whisper on the breeze, if only it were so. In those halls of darkness where children are taken from the world and given to the shadows of dust, Asher is destined for that same fate. He'll become the myth, he'll become the legend, he'll become the whisper of death itself. Man, that pulls you in already, not just the back. So, we'll see. I mean, there's lots of stuff in this world. Chapter 1, Killing Strangers. It's easy to kill a man. Men have been killing each other since the dawning of the First Age. It says, however, that living with it can be difficult, a weight upon one's conscience. So say the weak. Your conditioning begins here, in the embrace of nightfall. we're already inducted. We've been initiated. I mean, those lines just stood. And then got Blood of Fire by Ryan Cahill. Down in the Broken. I think we mentioned this one before. And that it's signed, because it's one of the first copies in traditional publishing, I guess you could say. Alright, let's see. So there's a card. There's a running joke. Let's see. A prologue. Let's see. Beams of pale moonlight drift through the forest canopy as Calabar pushed his foot against the Urak's lifeless body, turning it over onto its back. Okay? Chapter 1. The Glade, spring year 3080 after Doom. Kalen's fingers slipped snugly into the worn grooves on the wooden practice sword handle. I like the prologue one, but I mean, Urakai's wooden handle practice sword, they're gonna be fighting. There's gonna be fighting. I mean, you know. Okay, there's a couple more. We'll take a look at. Ooh. Another Christopher Paolini, To Sleep in the Sea of Stars. So, epic fantasy writer turned epic sci-fi writer. Let's see. Space holds countless secrets. She just found the deadliest one. Let's find the first page. Let's see. I'm not big in sci-fi, but this one was way good. Chapter 1, Dreams. The orange was a giant. Zeus hung above the horizon, huge and heavy. The orange gas giant, Zeus, hung low over the horizon, huge and heavy and glowing with a ruddy half-light. Around it glittered a field of stars, bright against the black of space, while beneath the giant's lidless glare stretched a gray wasteland streaked with stone. That was so descriptive. I liked it. Okay. Oh. Gift of the Shaper. D.L. Jennings. Another guy on YouTube or BookTube. Armies will clash and gods will even die. For 1,000 years, the Breaker of Dawn has been locked away in the ethereal plane of the otherworld. Guess we're doing one-liners from the back, too. Let's see. The prologue is literally a paragraph. I think we can manage that. Morna's hands trembled as she loosened her grip on the blade and looked at the Kirnari before her. I was so scared that day until death and cruelty had been strangers to me. Yet suddenly they appeared before me in flesh. Never before had I felt such relief and such terror at the same time. Her voice trembled with emotions. Thought the creature wanted nothing more than to slit my throat and throat of my sisters. Said just done to our captors, she said. She closed her eyes in sorrow and turned her face to the ceiling. It was death I welcomed. I had enough of begging for my life. Dude, what a line. Chapter 1. High Glade. Night breathed out and the dawn as the dawn breathed in, and Thornton Woods awoke to his father's big hand shaking his shoulder. I don't know much, but I do know I'm intrigued. It's kind of the purpose of this. Get you looking into another Ashley Christensen book. This one's called Mask Assassin. And this is cool. It's like digital mask, but it's about a vampire mask assassin, something like that. So, ever since I became a vampire, I always felt the need to move. Nothing seemed to satisfy the constant need for movement. Tried everything and went everywhere. I studied every possible fighting style every corner of the earth had to offer. Nothing ever lasted long until I found a certain flyer 6 years after I was turned. A flyer that changed my life in more ways than one. Signed by the author, good friend. Let's see, prologue. Ever since I became a vampire, I always felt the need to move, like my body was restless and unable to find peace. Okay, chapter 1. Scorpio, you've changed, Matt stated as I entered his gym, glanced at him and studied his appearance for a second. Not really, I can't exactly change, remember? Vampires are frozen in time. We don't change no matter how many years have gone by, I replied with a sly grin as I leaned against the wall. I can already tell their banter is way fun. And they're in a gym, a vampire in a gym. She's training. Good stuff, bro. Okay, Elven Liberation, The Awakened, by E.W. Crandall, another friend. And it's also signed. Let's see. So, 2 elves, 1 human, and 1 mage, linked by fate, but how? There's a prologue also. Last battle of the War of Ages. Fire surged across the once lush green landscape. The rolling grassy hills were now brown and blackened. Arrows flew from the top of the hills and swords clanged together. Humans and mage fought against the diminishing magic of elves. She's a wordsmith. Wow, anything else, there's a wordsmith. That's like chapter 1. 506 E.W.C, Older Valley. Rain changed on the iron coach. The heartbeat of hollow metal that Mazin, the 8-year-old elf, was being carried away to a few minutes ago. His life was beautiful. Green rolling pastures with a crisp smell of earth that had once graced his feet. Now he was sitting in a cold gray leather, being transferred to Hemsco, known as the Frozen Death. His wrists were cuffed tightly together as his small hands clung around the stone carving his mother had given him before the final embrace in the worlds of love. This, it's kind of like elves, but there's a Japanese samurai. I mean, it's something else there. Okay, last one tonight, or in this one, another Ashley Christensen book, The Night That Changed Fate. I've always hated moving. I hope against each time we move it would be the last, but now I have to move again. Difference between this move and the past moves is that this move is to save my life. Let's see. Another signature? I'm collecting, apparently. Prologue sounds like the bag, so. Chapter 1. Boxes were all over the place, holding every piece of my life. Never thought I'd leave the city. Once my mother had said it was the last one. I only moved once after I graduated from high school and started college. Even then, it wasn't too far away from my mother and my sister. So this one, another good line. So those first lines, did they invest you? Are you gonna read it? You curious? What are some first lines you like? I mean, what starts your interest in the book? Is it the first line? Is it the back, the cover? You can't judge a book by a cover, but you can. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good day, good night, what time you're watching this. We'll talk to you soon. Pepperjack Hawk and Pepperjack Studios signing out.